Hello everyone, in this particular class of mine, I'm going to explain about PROC contents. What is the use of this particular PROC contents? Generally, we use these contents mainly to browse the description portion of the data. So what is this particular description portion and how it is different from the data portion? I'm going to explain it in detail on this particular PROC contents, and let me just go through all the options and statements, what we write it with this particular procedure of PROC contents and how to save your data for a future purpose. Let's get started with this, and I'm going to explain in detail. So let me open my SAS software to give you more details on it. Please note that there is a task at the end of the video. Watch the video entirely and respond to the task by leaving your comments below. Whenever you want to write any program using SAS, I'll just try to write it. So I'll just write it data, your data set name. I'm just mentioning it. So then followed by, you can write it test is your data set name. Okay. So I'm just writing it test. Then followed by the input is the statement. I'm just specifying it. Within input statement, I'm specifying X is one column, Y is one column, Z is one column. Then card statement. Within a card statement, I'm just specifying it. So the X value 10. Okay, 10 and 20, 30. So something like that. I can just write it. So then 45 or maybe 67 or 89, something like that. I can write it semicolon and run. Data onwards up to run step, we call it as a data step. Once you execute the data step, the result of data step is going to be data set. So the SAS data set is just got created. So you can just go to your libraries location in the work library. There you can see the data set is just got created here. You can just see. So the red color ball symbol, we call it as a SAS data set. So the data set is just got generated here. Okay. So now, just hold on a second. Okay. So the data set is just got generated. So now my interest is, I want to show all the properties of this data set. What I can tell to my SAS is just open SAS. So then you can just mention it. X, Y, and Z is your column names. So there you can just write it. The values is 10, 20, and as well as 30, 45, 67, and all, like just normal values only. So here, this is your column names and this is your rows. This is very common, which you know. All are numerical variables only right now in my data. So that is my X value, Y value, Z, all are numeric. So basically, what is data portion, what is description portion, in the sense, what you have to do is close the data set now. So close the data set. Okay. So now what you have to do is, I'm just writing a procedure saying it as a proc, means it's a procedure contents. So before contents, I'll try to write it print, proc print and semicolon and run. So this is a procedure method to print your data in the output. If I try to execute it and run it, so it is just printing the output in output window. So you can see that the SAS system is the title, you are getting it. So the output is generating it. So here my variable values and variable names it is printing. So this is just like if you want to get any data portion, we write a proc print procedure. Imagine you are interested to get any description portion of the data, then we try to write it. Proc means it's a procedure contents, 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 data equal to your data set name. So that is going to be test. I'm just writing it semicolon and run statement. This will allow me to get all the properties of my data set. If I execute it and run the program, so now you are going to get the properties of all the data. My data set name work.test, and there it is a data, it's not image. So member type is data. I have used version 9. I have created this particular SAS software. So you can see that my once I saw actually my system date is freezed to the September of 4th 2014 date. It is preserved automatically. It is showing that particular date and time over there, last modified also. protections and all, I have not given any password for my data set and all, so that the protection is off, and as well as the data set type also off. And you can apply the labels also if you want it. So if you apply any label to a data set, if you apply any password to a data set and all, you can able to get it in these properties. Apart from that, you can just see here the SAS observations. There are two observations and three variables containing a data set. It has got created. So, and the default length of the each and every variable, so that means three variables we have it, 3 8 ja, so 24 length by default it automatically gives it. So you can see that the length of each variable is x variable length is 8, y variable length is 8, z variable length is 8, so 3 8 ja 24 is the default length of your variables you are getting it. Apart from that, what else is required, you need to observe, so you can see that C user Naido app local temp SAS temporary files dot SAS 7BD8. So this is the extension of your SAS data set, where it is saving by default. It is saving in the work library. Ultimately, it is saving in your temporary folder on your desktop. So thing is here, why I'm calling temporary. Once you close the SAS session and open again, the work library containing data will be just vanished like that, because it's not permanent. If you store something in SAS user or SAS help, then only you can able to retrieve the data in future. But if you are just storing in SAS, what I can say that in work library, it will be just removed like that. So basically what I try to tell you in this particular program is, you are interested to get a properties of a data set, I can just use a procedure called proc contents. If you want to know the proper, you want to know what is the data options, so I can just use an option here, the data portion. I'll try to write it, so here the data portion, I'm just writing it here. Okay, so this is my data portion. I can print it by using proc print step, so I can print that. And I think why the proc print is not appearing, okay, it's already there earlier. See, earlier I have opened that. So if I want to get the properties, sorry, if I want to get the data portion, I can use a proc print procedure. If I want to get the description portion of the data, I can use a procedure called proc contents. So proc print, when you will use it to display the just a data portion. Proc contents, we use it when you want to get the description portion of the data, we can write it. So right now you are getting a properties of only one data. Imagine client interest is, I need to get the properties of many data sets. Imagine, as you know, in my library of SAS help, so there you can just see in your SAS help library, so there we have multiple data sets available. So now you are interested, you want to get the properties of all, then I can say proc contents, data equal to dataset name. So I'm just trying to write it SAS help dot test. So actually test dataset is not there, so I have many datasets, like class dataset is here. So I want to get the properties of the class dataset. If I execute it and run it, so the class dataset wise properties you are getting it in my SAS help library. 19 observations and 5 variables containing a data which is there. There you can see that age is one variable, height is one variable, name, sex, weight, and all the variables you can get it. Within this we have a few numerical variables and few character variables also. The numeric variables are appearing something like age with number, height with number, and name is variable character format, sex is a character, but weight variable number. So that means which variable and all, so you can able to get it either character or numeric. It is trying to give the properties of only one data set. Imagine now my interest is, I need to get the properties of all the data sets which is there in the SAS help library. Then I can tell to my SAS, just come here, click enter. Then I want to get the properties of all the data sets. I can write it SAS help dot underscore all underscore. This will allow me to get the properties of all the data sets, whatever is there in your SAS. You want to get the properties of all. So it will take some time to generate it. So automatically, according to your computer speed, so basically the outputs is generated, you see that. So this output of mine, right now what I'm getting it, you will get the properties of all the data sets. See, I'm interested to see the properties of my class data set. I can see all the variables, attributes, and column labels and all what I have applied. Or else I want it another data, something called SAS help dot library containing course data, attributes and all, I want to see that properties, even that is also possible. I can get it. So whatever the dataset properties, if you want it to see, you can see those properties. Okay, so you just click on it. See, this is my course dataset properties. You will get a properties of all the datasets
Sir,
if you
what
want it.
is hello, sir? What is the attributes?
Attributes is nothing but imagine, madam, what is your name?
Sharanya.
Serenia. Serenia is your variable name, madam. Okay. Attribute means,
Okay.
hey, I'm Serenia. I'm from US, and I'm studying what I can say that in this particular university. And those details is nothing but extra information about variable is nothing but your
Okay.
attributes, madam.
The
Okay.
attributes. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right. So if you just see here, you open any data set. So let's say I'll just go for a class data set. Okay. So I want to know what are the attributes of my name. You double click on the name variable. There you can see these are all my column attributes. My column name is name, but there is no label applied here. Actually, if I want to apply any label, I can apply it. The length of that label is 8 character. The format of that label is 8 character, and format also will be 8 character. It is trying to tell me it's a character or numeric also. It's about your properties basically, understand? Or maybe I can say that it's about details about your variable name, I can say, is your column attributes. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Thank you.
So now once the column attributes and all, I can print it for what I can say that for multiple data sets, fine. But when I'm printing it everything, it is just displaying in the output. You want to store that information into a data set so that you want to use it for a future reference. How can I store all these properties in one data set? Very simple. You don't need to worry about much. You try to copy the program, then just paste it here. Instead of underscore all underscore, you write it. So you don't need to worry about that. You write a statement called out equal to. So now you are interested to store all this data into my new data set name called anything. I can write it. For time being, I'm interested to write my name as an IDO. So when I try to execute it, all these properties, I'm interested to store it in IDO data set. Yes, I'm doing it right now. So see, this time generally depends on your computer speed. So my computer is of 16 GB, 8 GB I have dedicatedly assigned to my SAS software, so that it will work a bit faster than your side. So maybe in your case also it will take 1 or 2 seconds late, but yeah, you will get it. Basically it is not about your output window. Go to your explorer window here. So there where you can see about go to your work library. So there in the work library you can able to see the data set which you have created with the name of Naidu. Right now you try to open it. So all the properties of my Naidu data set is going to be your properties of all in your what I can say that all the data set properties on your data set. So basically all the properties of all the data sets will be stored in one particular data set. So what is the purpose why we need to save it into a separate dataset? Means sometimes you are interested to export the same data in the form of Excel, because client requirement need to see the properties of all the dataset. Is there any variable names I need to change it? Is there any labels I need to change it? Is there any lengths or formats or anything they want to change, something like that? You can get and you can upload these properties for your reference. Understand? So this is where you can able to get it. Understand? So this is how so you can get the properties. Though the question is, when you are getting your properties in output properties into a data set, there is no need of printing this particular program or maybe the outputs anymore. I'm forcefully telling my SAS don't print anything in the output. I can just mention it as a no printer. This will allow me not to print any program. When you execute it and run the program, it is not printing anything now. So now you can just see. So what happens, it is just working like that. The data set is created, so there is no error, but you won't get any output in output window, because I forcefully tell my SAS don't print any output in output window by just using an option called no print. Right? So you can get it like that. Before that, when we are just writing a proc contents of one data set, you need to see actually in your data set of your property. Before you just go to your SAS help library, guys, seems to this result window is slowing down. of my computer speed, I'll try to just make sure to get my output in output window only, so that what happens, it will try reducing my system memory speed. Okay, result window, create HTML is output. Let me just get that. Create listing is the output. I want to generate it every time. Okay, when I get the properties, I'll get the properties in output window. You just see that. Yeah, I'm getting it. But here you can see that age, height, weight, sex, and all the variables that is your variable name. But you can see the numbering part as a 3, 4, 1, 2, 5, and all, because it's an alphabetical list of variables and attributes. You are getting it. What is this alphabetical list? So basically, when you are displaying any variables, a is variable a first, then followed by the h, then followed by the n, followed by the s, then followed by the w, something like that, you are going to get it the order. So you just decided, no, no, I don't want it that. I need to get the properties as how it is declared in my data set. You just see, according to your data of your SAS self library containing class data set, the variables, which variable first derived. So that is my name variable first derived, then followed by the sex, and then followed by the age, height, weight. So I want it the order as it is, which is there in the data as a creation order. Then I can tell to my SAS by just mentioning it, just using a statement here, var num. So what you can do is, var num is the statement is used to create a variables in a order with number wise instead of just alphabetical. By default, the variables are displaying it in a order, but I wanted the variables in a creation order. I can get it by using a statement called varnam statement. So this is all about your contents. So if you want to get a properties of the data set, I can use a procedure called proc contents. If you want to get the properties of your variables, understand? So if you want, sorry, if you want to get the properties of the data set, use a proc contents. If you want to know the values of the variables and all, we will use a proc print. So you know the difference between proc print and proc contents.
So by now we have learned about PROC contents, how we can write the programs and how to get the description of the data sets and all the properties of the data sets and all we have learned. Let me give you a small task so that you can perform well. So for this, what you have to do is using a PROC contents to display the metadata of all the data sets in the library. So that's the task. So the task description is, you have a library name called mylib that contain multiple data sets. Imagine you have a library, so with the name of mylib. Maybe you can take the SAS help library also. Write a SAS code statement using proc contents to display metadata for all the data sets in your my library. The question is, how can you use proc contents to display the metadata for all the data set within a specific library in SAS? It's the same. So the question is same mostly. You have a library with all the data sets. Now the client requirement is, you need to get the properties of all the data sets, not only just one data set. I need to get the properties of all the data sets in that library. So what is the code? You will write it. Please see in the comment section the first comment for the answer, and as well as I'll just upload this particular answer sheet into this particular what I can say that a description of this video. So just watch it, you'll get more details. Thank you for watching. Please click on the like if you are interested on this particular video, and as well as subscribe for more updates. And if you have any questions or comments, please write it in the comment section. I'll take care. Thank you.